Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Workman Show, Season 1, Episode 1. We've got a great show for you, so hang in there. We've got Anthony Lewis, and we've got some Bob Huggins. Stay. As promised, Anthony Lewis, what's up?
How you doing, Jim?
Doing well. I appreciate you joining us. Anthony Lewis is the host of Full Court Press, featuring Bob Huggins beginning on November the 7th. And also, of course, we know you from Touchdown City Show. You're up to 13 affiliates, radio affiliates throughout the state of West Virginia. You're also streaming online. So we appreciate you joining us here on the initial Jim Workman Show, man.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor, man. I've been watching you build this thing, and I know this is a project you've been working on for a while. And I think I've told you before. I think everything looks great. So excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I was able to share a couple of videos with you a little while ago of West Virginia Athletic Director Ren Baker when he was asking about how they're going to honor Huggins eventually at WVU. Also, I shared with you some of the video of from the Arty Museum, the West Virginia Sports Legends induction ceremony on September 30th. Had a chance to share that with you, and there were some great comments from Bob Huggins. So I'm going to talk to you first. I'm going to share those videos with our audience after we talk, but just tell me a little bit about Bob Huggins joining the Full Court Press show this year. That's pretty exciting stuff.
Obviously, it's a great opportunity for my guys and myself to work with a guy that's the Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame basketball coach, over 900 basketball victories, and quite a personality. So it's a great opportunity to work with him and learn some things from him about basketball. I'm sure I'll pick up some things there. And then, hopefully we can kind of teach him a little something about media as well. So, obviously this is our second season entering and going into our second season with Full Court Press. And adding Coach Huggins is just a huge addition. And of course, we'll bring a lot of eyes and ears to what we do.
It's not every day that you can add a Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer to your lineup. So that's got to be a thrilling event.
Yeah, it was a big opportunity for us. We've already had been working on pre-production for the show, laying out scheduling and those type of things. And Doug Scaff, who's the president of HD Media, who is our media partner with the show, they helped co-produce it with us. He approached me and said, "What do you think about adding Bob Huggins? We'll just swap Avon out from football to adding Bob Huggins." And, obviously there was a little bit to think about just due to the fact that, I wanted to make sure that he was in a good place. And this was something that he was interested in as the next part of next chapter after coaching at West Virginia. So we've been spending some time together and getting to know each other a little bit, building up a little trust. Mostly him learning to trust me as a radio person and just somebody that he didn't know. And we're just trying to build up a little a little repertoire and be able to bring a really good basketball radio show to the people in West Virginia.
I expect the first episode is November the 7th, but I expect the first couple of episodes to be Coach Huggins' thoughts on what's happened over the past year or couple of years, and then you'll probably ease into the basketball analysis. Is that kind of what to expect?
So obviously, there is an elephant in the room when we go to the studio here in a few weeks. So there's some things that he wants to get off of his chest. There are some things out there that he wants to address, and and let the people of West Virginia hear it from him versus what they've heard through the press or even from the university. So he wants to give his side of the story on a few things, and then we're going to move forward and talk basketball and Big 12 basketball, and we've been working on a few things. Just kind of talking about what are we going to do this year? Well, the week before, what he does is, I've got a really good Rolodex of phone numbers in my phone, but compared to his, nothing in my phone. So I can't pick up the phone and call Rick Pitino the week they play St. John's and say, "Hey, Coach Pitino," but Bob Huggins can, and he can call Bill Self, and he can call Jerry West or Rod Thorne. He can call. I'm sure he's probably got Michael Jordan's number in his phone, truth be told, but he can pretty much call anyone and ask him to come on, and that's the thing that he wants to bring to the show, is to bring that type of element, and then his expertise. As media people, we sit and contemplate and speculate and armchair quarterback everything, but he'll be able to give you the real perspective on why probably a decision was made. He's made that decision a million times. He's coached 1,300 games plus. So he'll be able to bring a whole different perspective to the people of West Virginia when it comes to basketball, not just West Virginia basketball.
I shared the video from the induction ceremony at the Art Museum Sports Legends induction ceremony from September 30th with you a little bit ago. And, one of the constant themes that Coach Huggins was addressing was, "I'm a West Virginian. I love West Virginia." What was your thoughts in hearing that raw, just really emotional Huggins, really the first time that he had spoken publicly, even though it was kind of a private ceremony, but he was really emotional and really contrite, I thought.
Yeah, I want to first say I don't by any means ever try to speak for him, but I feel like because I watched it and what I kind of heard in his voice was maybe there are some people trying to downplay, his love for West Virginia, his love for West Virginia University, West Virginia basketball. I can promise you that he probably would have cut off a few fingers for the opportunity to try to go out and win a national championship. And the thing he always talked about was bringing that trophy and literally taking the trophy on tour. And I think his point in that was, and he's got a great point, is there's really nobody more WVU or Morgantown than he is. Like he said in that video, I think you're going to show it here shortly, is, when I think the property where his mother grew up is still sitting there, and like some of the foundational work is still there. He was born right on campus. He told me one time when I was visiting with him that he couldn't remember because he had played like back-to-back weekends, but basically Mickey Fafari and Jack Fleming were the officials in his two first basketball games. Doesn't more WVU than that. So
wow.
Really second guess his love for Morgantown and the people of West Virginia.
True. Now, Ren Baker, eventually West Virginia is going to honor Coach Huggins. Of course, as we spoke about a little earlier off air, there's a little bit of a shadow over this 2023-2024 season just because of the transition that Josh Eilert will be in. And some of the players that were expected to stay didn't, some did. So it's going to be an interesting year to see how we move on.
Yeah, so obviously there are some guys on that roster that specifically came to play for Coach Huggins. Josh Eilert, Coach Eilert, is a Bob Huggins guy, right? So he brought him with him from K-State. I don't think there's any, bad blood between those two or anything like that. But I think people, as long as there's that connection, the name Bob Huggins will continue to be mentioned. So I'm hoping. I hope they go to the Final Four and win a national championship. And Josh Eilert's extended a 10-year contract, and he's the next coach at West Virginia University, because it would kind of stay in the family, so to speak, if that makes any sense. But but Coach Huggins has been there since 2005. He's built the practice facility. He's had helped with the updates. He's very much and forever will be a part of West Virginia basketball. Just like Jim Boeheim, Mike Krzyzewski, those guys were always going to be intertwined with their prospective schools.
That's true. All right, Anthony, tell people how to get your show. The Full Court Press is in basketball season, but as you told me a little bit earlier, seasons overlap in Morgantown. So you've still got Touchdown City show going on right before Full Court Press debuts in its second season on November the 7th.
So we're currently doing Touchdown City, and it's myself, Michael Suss, Haley, and as I refer to him, the GOAT, Avon Coburn. And people can find all that information at touchdowncity.com, all of our social media platforms and podcast platforms. And we're in, I think, 11 or 12 radio stations and about 20 some radio markets. So check your local listings on your sports channels, sports stations for those listings. I'm going to do we're going to update the page, so we'll have those listed here soon.
All right, Anthony Lewis, appreciate you, brother.
For Full Court Press, though, they can go over. We got to give that out. So
that's right.
November 7th. Obviously, we're adding some affiliates, so we're picking up Fairmont, Morgantown, Parkersburg, and they can find all those stations and radio affiliates at pressvirginia.com.
Okay. Awesome. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great season.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jim. And congratulations on your show. And I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Appreciate it. Let's have you back on.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Thanks. Anthony Lewis, Touchdown City show for football season. Full Court Press featuring Bob Huggins coming up. So, we mentioned a couple of the videos that we have to show you. So we want to get right into that. The first one we're going to show you is Ren Baker, the West Virginia athletic director, who on June the 26th introduced the interim head coach, Josh Eilert. And right after he did that, he took some questions from the media. I was in attendance that day, and I asked Ren Baker specifically how he envisioned West Virginia University honoring Coach Bob Huggins.
There's been a lot of love and admiration, respect for Huggins expressed today. So, and you mentioned you'd love to see him healthy. Is there any thought, would you like to see an opportunity where fans could show their appreciation for him, like maybe on a game day, or he could go out on a higher note?
Absolutely. We haven't probably got far enough along to discuss the particulars of that, but we have already talked about ways that we could potentially have him back to honor him at some point, and undoubtedly that will happen. And I think that will be a time of celebrating a legacy and remembering the good times together.
So I think that's important. That one of the statements that he said in that press conference was, celebrating a legacy. And certainly with Bob Huggins being a basketball Hall of Famer and the amount of attention that he brought to Morgantown, West Virginia University, not to even mention the tens of millions of dollars that he raised for the hospital, for cancer research in his mother's name. I mean, his impact in Morgantown in sports and even outside of sports is really hard to put a great value on. So that'll come, as Ren Baker said. So let's show you the video from the Arty Museum induction ceremony.
I really appreciate this. We're playing in the Final Four. We're playing Duke. A guy from Duke dives into Deshaun Butler and tears his knee up. I go out on the floor, and obviously he's in a tremendous amount of pain. And we take him out and carry him out, take him, the doctors are looking at him, they're saying it's going to have to be a total reconstruction of his knee. I don't know. I've had it happen when Kenyon Martin went down when I was at Cincinnati. and it just totally deflates everybody involved. And so we struggle a little bit, struggle a lot, get through. I come home, I'm sitting watching television, and this deal comes on about a mining disaster in southern West Virginia. Big Branch, Upper Big Branch. And I'm sitting there, and I said to my wife, I said, I wish there was something I can do. She said, there is. Get in the car and go down there and help those people. So I'm thinking, I got to do a little bit more than that. I mean, so I call my dear friend, Greg Darby. I said, can you bring some water? You know, because you listen to the deal and everybody's saying they need water. And so I call Greg, and I get a guy to put me on a helicopter, fly me down, drop me down in the field, and I go in. I'm walking up the road there, carrying water. I still thought I was what I was at one time. You ever done that? You know, you think you can carry like 3 cases of water, really you can only carry 1. That's about where I was, and so I'm carrying that up, and here comes Greg with 2 trucks, I believe it was, 2 trucks just absolutely full of water, and I think, you know, this is great. I go down to a pole building where all of the relatives and so forth are in, and I look, and there's water stacked from the floor pretty much almost to the ceiling, and I'm like, I think I got the wrong stuff. So I go out and make some calls. We get some food in there, but you know, pretty quickly you realize food's not really what it was about. Joe Manchin at that time was our governor. Joe said, "Come on, you're going with me." We went up, and we're listening to all the people and what's going on, and the harsh reality of it was probably they're not coming out. And it just, you know, I didn't know what to do. I'm not smart enough to know what to do. I went down, and Joe went in and started talking to him, and nobody even raised their head. I mean, I'm looking at, you know, a group like this, a little bigger group than this, but of wives, sons, daughters, lady in there who had 2 sons and her husband, and I didn't know what to do. And Joe said, so Joe obviously, and that's hard now. You all know Senator Madge, not senator now, I guess, but whatever he is, he's not lost for words very often. He walked over, grabbed me by the arm, and he said, "You got to do this." And I have no idea what to do. I had a guy who was one of our managers, and what I did was I went over to the equipment room, and I just grabbed everything I could get my hands on and put it in a box. I didn't know sizes. I didn't know if it was a uniform we were going to wear the next game. I didn't know what it was. I just grabbed everything and put it in a box. And I said to my manager, I said, "Run down there and get me that big box." And he went down and got the box. Well, I'm trying to find something to say, and finally the box comes back, and I said, if any of you would like an autographed whatever's in this box, be it a jersey, be it a pair of shorts, be it shoes, be it socks, be it whatever, I'd be more than happy to autograph it for you. And it was amazing that, to me it was amazing that it just lifted everybody. And people started getting up And coming up, the first lady who come up, I'll never forget. She was the lady who had 2 sons and a husband. And she came over and she hugged me. And she said, they're going to be okay. And I said, man, what would you, is there, something here that you would like to give them when they, when everything clears up here? And she said, absolutely, because they're going to be okay. And so the whole mood in the place just started to change, and I think that's probably the first time. See, let me go back a little bit. See, I am a West Virginia guy. I mean, there's some people that try to paint me as not one, but I was born in Vincent Pallotti Hospital. You can't get any closer to campus than that now. I mean, that is right on the corner right there on the campus. My mother grew up on 8th Street. My mother grew up, if you go to leave the Coliseum, go down the hill towards town, take the first left, drive up that straight up that hill, look to the left. That was where my mother grew up. My grandfather but my grandfather smuggled his way on a ship and came over here from Italy. And if anybody doesn't think he was Italian, if you know anything about Italy and you know about how they live in Italy, there was a chicken coop, big chicken coop. Chicken coop's not there anymore, obviously, but the foundation's still there. There's where the big garden that he had, it's still there. The stands, the poles for the grape arbor, still there. So if you ever go up there, don't tell me I'm not West Virginia. And my dream was to play at West Virginia University, and had the privilege of playing with 2 guys from Southern West Virginia that I love like brothers. Actually, we pretty much are brothers. So, I've made mistakes in my life. I think probably most people have. I've probably made more than my share at times. But I love West Virginia. I love, my grandfather was a water commissioner in Morgantown. I mean, I've got roots, much like Mo has roots. And I think the thing that probably held us together as a team was the fact that we did have a core of West Virginia guys that love West Virginia so much. And I think the thing that I've tried to talk to our guys about is the fact that this state loves you. And we owe it. I appreciate that. I need to be a little bit better West Virginian at times. But I get asked to do. I'm a terrible speaker. I mean, I get up here and kind of stammer around because I really don't know what to say.
Speak from your heart, brother.
Well, I do that. But I just want you to know how much, Tex, I appreciate you, appreciate what you do, what you stand for. Been a very dear friend for quite a few years. Jerry, I wish I'd have scored about 8 more. But I still love you. Anyway, it's today, but folks, I want to tell you something. This guy sitting over here is one of the great guys of all time, one of the great players of all time. And I think sometimes guys don't get their due, and he deserves every bit of it. He was a great player and a great person, a great teammate. And you know, when I got back, you know, one of the first things that happened was getting hooked up with Mo again. You know, because I was, you know, at a few different places. I've only ever been to one place that I can honestly say that the people could be West Virginians, and that's in Kansas. Kansas people are a lot like us, but there ain't nobody better. I just want you to know I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And
So I hope you enjoyed that. Pretty exclusive video because, as I said before, there was only probably 75 to 100 people in attendance that day. The inductees to the West Virginia Sports Legends Museum in Arty, West Virginia. I was one of the inductees this year. A couple other media personalities were there, Rick Ryan and Gary Faber. They were both honored as well. So it was really a great honor to be there and to listen to Coach Huggins speak. And also the Jerry that he was referring to was Jerry Lucas of the New York Knicks, who apparently led Huggins by about 8 points in all-time scoring in Ohio high school statistics. So anyway, that's going to do it for season 1, episode 1 of the Jim Workman Show. That's an example of what you'll get, but it's not always going to be about sports. Of course, this one was not completely about sports. It's about the human interest things. You know, we've got some tours that we're going to give virtually. We are going to take you on an alpaca farm tour. We're going to take you through a woodworking shop tour. That's going to be, it's just amazing. Also, we're going to tell some stories. One that we're about to release is about Earl Lloyd, who broke the color barrier in the NBA. And it's just a remarkable story about Earl Lloyd. And then we've also got a really interesting episode coming up about public art in cities and the role that it plays. So again, we appreciate you joining us. Tell your friends and stay tuned for some more episodes of the Jim Workman Show.